My name is Leroy, and you are watching Cash's Conversation Corner.
Okay, we're going to have a conversation.
Every grocery store looks like this. Everything is either on the floor. Look at this.
The celery's still fully
Can't
stocked.
even get no food for my kids, G. Look at this. Came in the store to try to buy something because I'm not a thief. Look at this. In my hood, can't even get no food for my kids.
That is a young white woman trying to get into her building, and now they're just going to beat the living out of her. Truly evil behavior here, obviously. And look at that guy's sweatshirt, antisocial social club. Like, people are coming to do this sort of stuff. Like, people are gathering. They are coordinating with one another to do these sorts of things. And so what does our political class do? Well, I mean, if it's a black crowd doing this to a white woman, we don't even know the name of that white woman. We don't know what happened to her. I mean, from that video, I would assume that she was gravely injured. That is a crowd of predominantly young black men beating the living hell out of a white lady. And no one cares in the media. No one cares enough to actually pursue who is that woman? What actually happened to her?
It could have ended way worse had it not been for the intervention of a truly good Samaritan who says that the video of this attack that went viral over the weekend really only captures the tail end of what she describes as an absolutely brutal attack. The victims here, a couple visiting from out of town. They're in their early 20s, staying in an Airbnb. They were out to dinner, just trying to enjoy their night.
We were just downtown in Chicago trying to shop, trying to get some food. And we were walking down the street, and there was a really big group of guys, a really big group of people.
And girls.
Yeah, guys and girls. And, DJ had my hand, and he was trying to lead me through the crowd of people. And they pushed him, they pushed me. And as soon as they pushed me, I told DJ, I said, hey, they just shoved me.
The mob attack happened right near Macy's Wabash Street entrance.
And it was a mob of about 60 to 100 people.
They said they're going to kill us. They turned around and, started fighting,
They were shoeless. They didn't have they were looking for their phones, but it was no point because the phones had been taken away.
Both the victims and Lenora Dennis, the woman who came to their aid, say that several Chicago police officers passed by but did not intervene.
Cops drove right by it, act like they didn't see anything.
I literally went out into the street and stopped and held my hands up to a police car and asked them to stop and motioned them over to what was going on. And they just cut a path around me and just kept going.
She was eventually able to get the couple into her car. Then she drove them to the police station.
Got told by the desk sergeant that this was going to happen. It was going to keep happening because Brandon Johnson got elected. That floored me.
An ambulance then took them to the hospital, but the couple was without their phones, wallets, and shoes, which had all been stolen during the attack.
I told the couple that I was going to go home to find them some shoes so that they wouldn't be barefoot for the rest of the night.
Her name is Lenora.
Wow. She gave us shoes, took us home, took us to the hospital.
Her husband as well.
Thank you.
Just do unto others. And that's a mantra that I live by every day, is just do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
And meanwhile, stories like this, the only way to preserve that narrative, because statistically it's not true, is to simply ignore stuff like this. So you have Lori Lightfoot, the current outgoing mayor of Chicago, saying it's wrong to call this, I don't know, does it look like mayhem to you? That looked like mayhem to me.
Lightfoot says there's lots of opportunity to redirect young people to safe spaces, but scoffed at one reporter describing what happened as, quote, mayhem.
And here's the thing. The mass majority of the young people that came downtown because it was a great weather and an opportunity to enjoy the city. That's absolutely entirely appropriate. There are a few that came with different intentions, and they have and they will be dealt with. But I'm not going to use your language, which I think is wrong, to say that is mayhem.
It was wrong to say that's mayhem. She said they're out there to enjoy the weather while they're beating the living hell out of a white woman and trashing cars and burning them and looting things. Yes, well done. Now, would Lori Lightfoot have similar feelings if the races were reversed here? Of course not. Of course not. Imagine a white crowd beating the living hell out of a black woman like that. Not only would that be front page news, it would be front page news for months. I mean, this Ralph Yarl case is going to be front page news for the next several weeks, minimum, because it's going to be treated as indicative of the experience of young black men in the United States. What this is to suggest is the entire media narrative that is going to be drawn now, as always, when a white person kills a black person, is that black people are in, like, this was literally the lie of Black Lives Matter, that black people were being killed in overwhelming numbers by white people. And it is not true. It is not true. On a statistical level, it is more likely that if a white person is killed, they were killed by a black person than if a black...
Okay, we're going to have a conversation, and I'm going to tell you why I'm right, and I'll win if you agree.